Hey, I'm Max. Welcome to the spider level. Did you know that scientists say there's so many spiders that you are never more than 10 feet away from one? But don't worry, most of the time they don't bother anyone.
Hi, and welcome to Spider 1 Example Problems. In Spider, we're going to introduce our second Abacus rule, which is our 10-pair subtraction rule. We're going to use this in the case when we don't have enough beads touching the reckoning bar here to do the subtraction we want. So let's take a look at some examples of how we use our 10-pair subtraction rule. And yes, we will be using the exact same 5 10 pairs that we learned in Ladybug. So let's start by adding 8. Next I want to add 3. Well, I only have 1 bead available. Well, that's my Ladybug 10-pair addition rule. I add 1 to the next rod left and subtract 3's 10 pair, which is 7. Next I'm going to add 1. And now I want to subtract 5. Well, as you can see, I only have 2 beads touching the reckoning bar here on my target rod, which is not enough to subtract 5. So this is where I use my 10-pair subtraction rule. And the 10-pair subtraction rule is the exact opposite of the 10-pair addition rule. So I start by subtracting 1 from the next rod left, and then I'm going to add 5's 10 pair, which is 5. So that's interesting. In the addition rule, we added 1 to the next rod left and subtracted the pair, but in the subtraction rule, we subtract 1 and add the 10 pair. So let's take a look at that just one more time. So to subtract 5 from 12, as you see, I only have 2 beads on my target rod touching the reckoning bar, which is not enough. So I subtract 1 from the next rod left and add 5's 10 pair, which is also 5, for a final answer of 7. Let's take a look at a second example. We'll start by adding 2. Now I want to add 9. Well, you can see I only have 7 beads available. That's my 10-pair addition rule. Add 1 to the next rod left and subtract 9's 10 pair 1. Next, I want to subtract 5. Well, I only have 1 bead touching the reckoning bar here, which is not enough to subtract 5. So that's the condition to use our 10-pair subtraction rule. We subtract 1 from the next rod left, and then we add 5's 10 pair, which is also 5. And finally, we subtract 5 for a final answer of 1. So as you can see in these spider examples, we're continuing to work on and review everything we learned in Ladybug as well. Good luck with your training. Hi, and welcome to the Spider 1 finger movement training. So in Spider 1, we are focused on practicing subtracting 5 when we don't have enough beads on the target rod. So let's take a look at the example of having 12 on the abacus. Now I want to subtract 5 from the target rod, but I only have 2 beads. So here's where I need to use my 10-pair subtraction rule by subtracting 1 from the next rod left with my index finger, and then adding 5's 10 pair, which is also 5, to the target rod. So as you see, my finger movement is like so. You know, practice it a couple of times so you get a feel for that 10-pair subtraction finger movement.
I really wish we could somehow make this invisible